right, welcome back. Welcome back to yet another edition of Survive to Thrive, and we're going to talk about goals and anticipation. Today is coming off a story of me working with a patient yesterday, and one of the things that transpires, and this happens quite a bit, people will get into this this kind of like, and it's this way, it's always been this way, so I'm going to stay this way kind of concept. Have you ever been there? Like, the one thing that you know to be true is going to stay true forever and always because it's where you want it to be, maybe. So I was having this conversation, and it essentially ensued as how's your low back, and well, it gets better and then it gets worse, and it gets better and it gets worse, and even under care, it's just there was this level of frustration that this person had, and I understand that, and but the comment immediately with this is, I guess I'll live with this level of pain. I guess I'll learn to live with this level of pain. And automatically my doctor antennas go off, and I go, well, okay, there's two parts of this. One, you've shut down any anticipation, any hope for what could be. And two, you can't ever really learn to live with pain, or even learn to live with a problem in your low back, because it worsens with time. And see, automatically we set up a scenario where we're just going to go back to not doing anything, with this concept that we can put like life on hold. And when we put life on hold, what happens? Well, it keeps going. Life keeps going, and we start to fall behind. We deteriorate. Anybody that's tried like months at a time sitting on a couch, you know how your body goes, and it goes away. And then it takes that much more effort, energy, care, in this case, in our office, to be able to get back to where you once were, to be able to fight back to the status quo, fight back to a baseline, instead of actually doing the work at the point of where you're at. So there is a tip and a trick into this today, but you need to first understand where you might be just drawing the line and saying it is what it is, and it'll always be this way. And that's okay. There are some people that never want to change. But the challenge that you're going to run into, the actual aspects, even though you may not want change, you may not want to take on a new challenge, you may not want to expand, the thing is that you cannot just stay still. You cannot stay still, because things will drift and you lose relevancy. Anybody that's ever had grandkids or people younger that are in your life, you start to see that you lose relevancy. On music, you start, I like this, and they're like, whoa, that's an oldie but goodie. I'm like, wait a minute. No, the oldies were like in the 50s and 60s. Right? No, not the 80s. I guess they're old now. We start to lose relevancy, right? We start to lose relevancy with technology. It's like, I don't even know how to do that. And those people that are like, sit back and like, I'm not even going to do it. I don't know how to do it. I won't do it. I was like, oh, you can't though. So you can't just stay in one spot unless you have lots of money to hire somebody to do it for you. You can't. You have to be relevant. You have to actually figure these things out and move with technology. Otherwise, you start to fall so far behind. And this is no different than in health. This is no different in your body, whatever you're trying to do as far as physicality, keeping your spine healthy, keeping your nutrition on point. This is no different in spirituality, with a relationship, and what have you. And so we come back full circle as this person in the office. This is, I guess I'll learn to live with it. And we kill the hope, we kill any goals, anticipations of it getting better. Now, I understand sometimes when these things go on, and they take a lot of work and a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of energy to make some changes, that oftentimes we start to rationalize knee deep, waist deep, neck deep into making a change. Do I really want to do this? But see, in goals and anticipation, you begin to enrich life. Because in goals and anticipation, there's movement. When's the last time you truly sat down and scheduled a vacation? So if you've done that before, you sit down and you look at this vacation and go, here's the destination. I had the opportunity of doing it for my wife. And her 40th birthday was going to be in Fiji. I had so much fun. It was literally a blast of just like, okay, here's the destination. But this is a global destination. Fiji's a big place. It's a big island. Where else could we go? And what else could we do? And you start to narrow down and, oh my gosh, you do this research. And so in this goal of this destination of getting to Fiji, we found so much joy in sneakily going around and waking up early and trying to find out things to do. How much would this cost? Can we be here? What about this? And finding something new as far as research. Oh my gosh, I didn't know Blue Lagoon was right there. And we're got like this island that we could go to is where they filmed all this. And so all of this came in joy and anticipation of setting a goal. You see, oftentimes we avoid these goals. We avoid anticipation because it comes with sometimes anxiety. We have the work that we have to do and the things that we're going to have to come together to be able to get to this point. But the concept is today, here is this gentleman saying, yeah, I'm just going to learn to live with it. That's like not traveling. I'm just going to learn to live with it. I'm going to kill all the goals. I'm going to kill all the anticipation. I'm going to kill all the hope in the direction of what could be to settle for what is. And by settling for what is a decision to go the opposite direction. Let me say that again. The decision to settle for what is the choice to go the opposite direction. So put it in your body. If you're settling for where you're at right now, there is no such thing as maintenance in your body. Well, I'm just maintaining. Nope. You're degenerating, you're decaying. Because your body doesn't work that way. All right, we all know metabolism slow down as we get older. So what you maintained when you were at 30 is not going to be what you can maintain it when you're at your 40 and then 50s and 60s. There's got to be movement. There's got to be a direction that you go. And see, by choosing to try to, I guess I'll just learn to love my body where it's at right now. That's fine. Love your body. Love your body enough to continue to move, to continue to do things for it, to continue to feed it. Incredible nutrition. So that it may continue into older decades being able to have what it needs as you age. Or what happens? You go the other direction. You don't maintain, you lose ground. And you wake up one morning, because it is a slow sedation. You wake up in the morning and you feel those love handles and go, whoa, where did that come from? What happened? And then what do? We got to double down on making some changes, and it's going to take twice as long, twice as much energy to get back to where you could have gone by doing the work, setting goals, and anticipating changes that you could be. We do it in relationships, do we not? Relationships are the same way. Is that, we're good. Good, I've often said the good is the opposite of what you want in a relationship because it is a slow, almost maintenance. Let's just keep it as it is. I don't date my wife at all. If I don't date my wife and it's working out okay, it's working out okay. Only to wake up a decade later with somebody staring back at you going, I don't love you anymore. Well, why? Well, because you didn't put in the little things. You didn't actually bring the little gifts. You didn't set up the little things that you could both anticipate and work on together. And all of a sudden, what you did 10 years ago no longer works. And you're sitting there wondering, like, what the hell? This has always worked for us. Yeah, but you never moved. You became less and less relevant to your partner. That partner's needs grew and changed. But you thought you could maintain. And in your maintenance and in your good, you never reached great. Is it in your work? Oftentimes, we just get by, don't we? Well, what we did always worked before. I don't get why I have to do more. I gotta do more. Well, because the world changes. The world changes. We ran into this in 2016 in our office with Obamacare at its finest. We saw people with Cadillac insurance plans that had tons of coverage going, we have no more coverage. Like, we have $3,000 deductibles, $5,000 deductibles. People had to dramatically shift. We had to shift with them. We had to offer cash more often. and look at cash and affordable cash prices for people. Make sure that we were staying relevant with the times. We moved. And we worked differently. You see, two things are coming about this week. We talked about problems and challenges. And those are the things that how you look at it and how you frame it. And the understanding that problems are always going to be there. You can frame them as challenges, something to wake up to and get after and have fun to be able to solve. Like, oh gosh, well, what are we going to do on this? I don't know. Let's figure this out. Or you can look at problems as like, oh gosh, just another. It's the world. The world's falling apart and it's attacking me. Same thing here as what we're talking about. You set goals and you get to anticipate and enrich your life, or you don't. You sit there and say, ugh, I guess it's just going to be. Where have we lost the fight? Where have you lost the fight? Where are you giving up in your world that you can actually make a change today to shift back to setting goals and anticipating things? Like, I can anticipate where my body's going to be a year from now. I can anticipate what trips I'm going to take if I get this certain work done. I can anticipate what growth we can do, what more we can develop in our own office to be able to what? Provide more health for people, different opportunities. I get up every day and set goals and anticipate these things in the direction of adding more value to my life, to other people's lives, and it keeps me going. I could sit back and just say, well, practice was practice. We do what we do, and we don't have to be relevant and stay up with the science. We're just going to be who we are. Well, I know there's new things out there, but what we do works. It just works. We're going to stay with that. What happens? We lose our relevancy for people, and people move on and say, look, my stress levels are at this. I get a healthy position of the spine. That helps. It helps. But what else? Because my stress levels are higher. So, okay, well, we got this, and then we're going to add this. And we're going to continue to stay relevant. So the question for you today is, where have you given up and sat back and said, well, that's just the way it's going to be, and accepted life as what it is, where you can spark back up and set goals and anticipate life again so that you may find an enrichedness, an enlightenment in setting goals and anticipating where you could be and where you could go. That's the tip and the trick for today. One, recognize it. And this is compounding after yesterday's problems or challenges. All right? Do you really want to get rid of the problems in your life? Those of you that work out, you solve a problem every day. In the form of a barbell, in the form of a dumbbell that's sitting in front of you. How can I lift this better? How can I lift this more efficiently so I can get stronger, so I can do what I need to do throughout the day? It's a problem or a challenge. And now we're talking about taking those problems, embracing them, but actually setting more goals. Goals, which are just problems, are they not? They are challenges for you to figure out. To expand your body, to expand your life, to expand things in your world, to be able to be different 6 months from now, 1 year from now. And we anticipate where that can be. When's the last time you sat down and looked at that in all categories of life? So the challenge is today is pick one or more categories and sit down and set some goals in anticipation. Well, it's not New Year's. Yeah, well, when's the last time that ever worked out for you? But goals can be enriched with priorities. Like, I want to have financial freedom. Well, set some goals with that. I want to have this body that's functional so I can take care of my grandkids. Great. You got to set some goals around that priority. So where is it for you today? Comment. Obviously on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you see this, on the podcast, on iTunes, soon to be some other places. Comment. Share what you're learning from this. Give some feedback. It's always nice for others. It's nice for me to know where you're coming from on these things. But sit back and start anticipating again. And you might just find it enriches your life. In love and light, bringing you truths every day in this podcast to enrich your life in the world of thriving, not just surviving. We'll talk to you tomorrow.